Hey everyone, thanks for joining us here on GoLocal Live, the Navigate Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm Molly O'Brien. I'd like to say hello and welcome Miss Doreen Collins. Hello.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I know, it's interesting we haven't crossed paths.
Well, we have. Thanks for remembering.
We have.
We
haven't.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's okay. We have a lot in common.
We do.
Yes.
Except you're way funnier than I am, right? She's like subjective. All right, so I'm very excited to have this conversation with you today. Let me give you your introduction.
Oh, okay.
You're the only woman to be introduced into the Rhode Island. Inducted.
Yes,
See, I already.
that's okay.
Inducted into the Rhode Island Comedy Hall of Fame. She was inducted in 2015 as the first female to be inducted. You might know her from her performances with the Ocean State Follies, and she spent time hosting television programming on WJAR NBC 10. So we're talking to you today about a couple things. One, you have a book coming out soon, so we're going to get to that, which I'm very excited about. What is it?
This is the cover. I just approved the cover of the book.
That's awesome.
The book is a little bigger than this, not much, but.
That's fun.
Thank you.
I actually really like this cover.
Oh, good. Thank you, because I just approved it. So it's Confessions of a Working Girl, or How to Get Laid. Off.
This is perfect.
Because I have had a lot of jobs, and the job I met you in, Gold's Gym. I worked behind the desk for a second when you first came to town.
This was almost 6 years ago now.
Yes, and you were very sweet.
Thank you.
I watched you, when you were on Channel 10. I'd yell at you a lot. Molly, what does that mean?
And I probably didn't know. I just moved here.
Well, you never answered me. No, I know, and that was so funny because you'd be like, Root.
I don't know. I said route because it was very different, right?
That's okay. They don't, don't worry about it.
I practiced. I changed my ways.
Yeah.
And here we are today. Okay, so we want to talk about your book, but also wanted to bring you in because very interesting. I wanted to get your perspective. So because you're a comedian and because you have worked in television, you have worked into, and you've done many other jobs, as you have said, you have worked in two very male-dominated industries. And as many people know, that the headlines have been dominated by sexual harassment and sexual abuse allegations in the news. It's been all over the place. We also have the Me Too momentum going for us right now. I wanted to get your perspective and your insight on just what's going on and talk to you a little bit about what it's like being a female working in but we'll talk about comedy first, in a male-dominated profession. So we'll start there. A lot of things have happened just within the past couple hours.
I know.
So yesterday, Time Magazine announced their Person of the Year, and it was
The Me Too movement.
The women who spoke out. Today, comedian Al Franken resigned from his position.
Well, Senator Al Franken did.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because of the things he did while he was comedian, Al Franken.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, I wonder, do you think others will follow suit? Like maybe Mr. Moore and Mr. Trump? Everybody who has allegations, you think? So let's start there.
That's a question. So I want to get your insight and your perspective as a female comedian, as a female professional. What has it been like for you to witness this movement?
I think I want to preface this whole conversation with, I am older, and I think this conversation varies depending on the generation and where you grew up. So when I grew up, it was, we're supposed to stay barefoot and pregnant and in the kitchen. Nobody wants me in the kitchen. I don't like being barefoot, and I've been pregnant. But it was a different world, but we're still here in this world trying to blaze trails for our daughters. I have really mixed feelings. I could never be a lawyer because I don't think things are black and white. There's a lot of gray. Comedians, I think, get a pass on a lot of things, myself included. I am allowed to be an asshole. Oh, she's a comedian. That's, no, I'm an asshole. But it doesn't excuse, nobody should touch anyone that does not want to be touched, period. However, a smack on the ass is different than rape. So all these, there's so many levels to this discussion. I'm glad it's happening. It's long overdue. And I don't know. I think, in the case of Al Franken, I think everyone should follow suit. However, that would leave us with a house full of women, which might not be such a bad thing.
I was going to say, that might not sound that bad right about now. But
Well, my brother actually said to me, with all the, the people on TV and in that industry, it's going to be nothing but old white women on television. I was like, yay, I have a shot. But it's been going on forever. And I guess we don't just have to teach our boys how to behave properly. We also have to teach our girls how to defend themselves, whether it's by, walking out of a room or, seeking help, to counterattack it. But I don't like bullies in any form. And I think that takes, that's a big issue, these men in power bullying people less powerful or people that they could. I have experienced degrees of harassment and handled them in different ways, but I'm also kind of tough. So in comedy, let's take Louis C.K. for example.
Yeah.
I can give you my opinion on what happened. I can say, well, woulda, shoulda, coulda. I wasn't there. I would like to think if someone came to me, dropped trowel, and started pleasuring themselves, I would look and laugh. Point, look, and laugh. Really? That's the best you got? That's all you got? And shame them and then leave. Try to get out. Because that's on him. And that's a little weird. But a lot of comedians don't do their stuff sober anyway. So I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know. I would have tried to, that situation, laughed it off and left.
Yeah, deflect in some
Yes.
way. Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe invited more people in to, look at this. Just go at it that way.
Yeah.
And I said this to someone, it's like, close your eyes, don't look, walk away. But I wasn't there. I don't know why those girls were there. I don't know why they stayed there. I mean, a lot of people at the casting couch and sleeping your way to the top. My career is indicative of what happens when you sleep your way to the bottom. So but there's that side of the coin. I don't know. Ask me something specific, because I could just babble about.
No, and it's okay. And I'm always trying to get people's insight, and that's what's great about this show and this place is that we try to get people's insight and perspective, and we have the opportunity to talk. It's not a 5-second soundbite. Do you know what I mean?
Excellent.
So that's why, and we're able to have these conversations and let people be able to speak their mind. So
wait, let me ask you.
Yeah.
Have you ever been on the receiving end?
I have not shared my Me Too moment.
Okay.
And I do have a story, and I did report. It was in the workplace, and my workplace chose to not believe me and not do anything. So I left, and I found another job, and I moved across the country. So
Okay. Now, and see, in that instance, that would. Are we allowed to say the F word on?
I
I
would
won't.
prefer that you don't, but
Okay.
we're not FCC regulated. So.
Okay, well,
But-
keep in mind, that would have been my FU moment,
Yeah.
and I would have done the same thing
Yeah.
you did. And that's why the Me Too movement is so important.
Yeah.
I have Me Too stories as well.
Yeah.
The bigger ones, I'm saving for the Today Show, Molly. No
There you
offense.
go.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's disgusting that everyone has one.
Yeah, it's tough. It's very tough. But let me ask you this. So, just coming from the comedy industry, comedy can be very raunchy, and it can be an old boys club.
It still is.
There you go.
It still is.
Do you feel that people like Louis C.K. have and he has shaped the industry by not allowing women to move up, possibly. And do you feel like hopefully things will change now that this movement is happening?
I don't know.
And do you feel like you've had to play along, maybe play a part, or that female comedians have had to play a part?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's funny. And, well, let's look at Ellen DeGeneres. She is a comedian of power now. Rosie O'Donnell was on that track, unfortunately, you know, other
Stuff
things
happens.
yeah. But, so we need more women like Ellen, who is very vocal and very powerful. Men, yeah, well, and not just comedy, but in the entertainment industry. And it is tougher for women comedians. When I lobbied for the Rhode Island Comedy Hall of Fame, and I was warned, it's not a place for the weak. You have to have, you know, you have to have balls. You have to be able to play with the big boys. And I have been, you know, I've been called a bitch, I've been called difficult, you know, but am I a bitch, or am I just equal to the boys? You know, is that the equivalent of a strong man is a bitch? And if that's the case, color me bitchy, and I'm okay with that. I don't offend easily. I also have to say that. I never have. My best friends from when I was a kid have always been boys. I was a tomboy. My best girlfriends are boys. I worked for, you know, that's how I avoid sexual harassment. I work for gay men. And
But
that
I
doesn't-
mean, but that can still, you can still be in a harassment situation. It doesn't matter.
Yes, but like I said, I don't offend easily. I have been groped. I have learned more about my boobage and what kind of underwear I should wear from drag queens. You know, they taught me more than my mom did. And I'm okay with that, but I've never been okay with being touched if I don't want to be. By anybody, man, woman, child, nobody. I used to work with a guy who always with, can I touch you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Always with the back, hi, how are you?
Yeah.
And it's like, and he wore too much cologne. So not only would he touch me, then I'd stink like him for
That's the
days after.
worst.
Yes. So one day when I'm getting my back rub, I smacked his arm and I said, look, don't touch me. You wear too much cologne, and I go home and I stink like you for days. You just,
Yeah.
eventually, you can't be nice. You just have to come out and say it. Because there was now these stories are popping into my head. Somebody else with a touchy-feely, and you finally have to say, stop. Just stop. A lot of people are afraid to say stop, or they're too shy, or they're too polite. But you have to remember, if someone's being rude enough to step into your space and touch you, polite's gone. It's out the window.
Do you think that there can be room for women comics, more women comics, and how do we get more women to step into that locally and nationally?
Well, being funny helps. That's like step
Step
number
one.
one.
Step one.
And a lot, I mean, once I was inducted into the Hall of Fame, I took my role and ran with it. And Rockin' Joe Hebert is the one who created the Hall of Fame, and he, great guy, but he warned me, he said, Dor, it gets tough, it's an all-boys network. I'm okay with that, I can be one of the boys. And I think I have been for the most part, but I took my newfound, title, and I created, started producing a show called Women Behind Bars, which, the title was a little misleading. None of the women had ever done time. One of them couldn't even tell time. But I created it to highlight and support women in comedy. So what started out as 3 women, then I started bringing in other women to give them a shot, to support, to highlight, to feature, to give them the opportunity to perform. And I don't think, maybe I'm unusual for this neighborhood, but it happens in Boston. There is a network out there. It's just not promoted like the male sector of this is there's a lot of funny women and there's a lot of female comedians out there. Go see them. I guess that's.
So it's up to consumers to go see them and support them.
It helps.
Yeah.
It's up to everybody. But the bottom line is, you have to be funny. I'm doing a women's night or girls' night out in Woonsocket at the Stadium Theater on April 20th, and Christine Hurley, who is a Boston headliner, is the headliner. Tracy Locke, who is New York, New Jersey headliner, she's coming in. I'll host, but again, promoting and highlighting women in comedy. Boys are invited too, because who else would we pick on? No, that's not true. And that's the other thing. I don't like to man bash. I don't like to bash anybody. That's not the kind of humor I do. I'm self-basher. I'm a self-basher. I love that you know, there's people, and I have ADD, so this is really hard for me to stay focused.
Well, it's fun,
Sorry.
right? No, it's totally okay. It's totally
Can
fun.
we moon them? Oh, I guess I shouldn't with what we're talking about.
Probably with what we're talking about, it's not the best choice.
Sorry.
But then we're gonna have to talk about you. But it probably would give us a big story for tomorrow. So I mean, pick your battles. Before we let you go, it's been an interesting conversation, and it's always insightful to get people's perspective, especially coming from the industry. I think comedy is such a different industry than a lot of other ones, but I think it's such an overwhelming. I don't know if it's a problem. I don't know if it's a topic. I don't think that any industry has not been touched by this.
No.
Coming up in later December, I'm speaking with someone in the earth and science field, a woman that works at Brown University. She's tackling this, trying to help train people to avoid sexual harassment and like get rid of this problem in the earth and science field. So it's everywhere.
It is everywhere.
I think
Wherever
it's
there's
touched
male
every
and
industry.
Of course.
Yeah.
I also feel that men, boys never truly grow up. So men, and I'm sorry if you're insulted, men, but they do stupid things sometimes, not thinking, and not funny. And this good old boy network and this locker room trash talk, not good. And it comes back to the bullying and just having power over someone else. And it is every field. I wrote a book about all the places I've worked, and none of them, they're everything from the police department to a gym to, the medical field, everywhere. Stop it. But girls, speak up.
I think that's an important message to have. Before we let you go, as we wrap up here, tell us a little bit about your book. When does it come out? We have the cover seen here on GoLocal Live.
First, this is a first GoLocal Live Prov Live.
Yeah, all the above.
Yeah, Molly show. It's the first time you're seeing the cover. The rest of the book will happen hopefully by next week. Look, can we hang this in the window?
Awesome. So this is all about the
I wrote this when I was unemployed about all the different jobs I've had. It was very cathartic, and it was, and again, it's how I got through these things with humor. Like I get through everything.
I love it. I love it. Doreen, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for giving us some insight. I hope you'll come back. Will you come back and hang out with us?
Oh my God, yes.
I love that.
Tomorrow, good?
Tomorrow might not be good, but we'll plan it.
Anytime.
I appreciate it. Thanks for the
Thank
insight. We'll put a link up to her website so you can check out when her next shows are and grab a copy of the book so you can find out more Doreen Collins. Check out all of her information more. We'll put up a link to it. Thank you so much for joining us here today on GoLocal Live. Kate Nagel kicks things off with news and politics as soon as I walk around the corner, so hang tight with us here on GoLocal Live. I'm Molly O'Brien.